Hello and welcome to Seagulls Social Season 3, Episode 15. And Brighton are absolutely flying, boys. We're back, winning ways. It's just great. The late scenes are back. There's so much energy here. But how are we all feeling? Maz and Ben, joined by the boys as absolutely always. Kick it off for me, lads. How are we feeling?
Fucking class.
I'm
apart from us.
Yeah, I'm mentally very good because obviously we won, but physically, I'm in a world of trouble. I've just had the really bad flu, but yes, I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely flying up the Seagulls, up the shagging Seagulls,
and up the Arsenal. Ben White beating Graham Potter. Lol.
Yeah, lol. Ben White putting a great performance as well, by the way.
Yeah.
It's actually, we may as well say that, to be fair. I'm very happy for Ben White. I think it's great to see him doing well on the big stage. I think probably the one player, like, you know, the 50 million price tag was being so criticised, but he's definitely proven his worth now. Arsenal absolutely flying. So happy for the boy.
It's funny, Arsenal fans are now saying to us that we were the ones that got robbed. They only spent 50 million.
Yeah,
they're turning at us now. It's good though.
Yeah,
no, it's great to see him. Like echo what you said, Brian. Great to see him doing well. Unlike some other players that have left us more recently.
Yeah, well, we were over that, aren't we?
No digs.
Anyway, let's...
Oh, just quickly, whilst we are on the subject of ex-players, Cucurella hugging, who was it? He's hugging him at the corner.
Xhaka. Was he hugging Xhaka?
Yeah, that was
so
I think it
might have been.
Funny.
That is actually the most comical defending I've ever seen a Premier League footballer produce. And actually, that's led me on to the question that I was going to ask you boys later on. I can't remember who posted the tweet. I'm going to have a look. I did reply to it. But I think it was a fan page. Yeah, Seagulls Sweden. They said, if you could have one of them back, who would it be? I was going to ask this a bit later on. And this consists of Mark Cucurella, Dan Burn, Yves Bissouma, and Ben White. Who would we have back, boys? I wanted to ask this question. Go on, Maz.
But I generally like, hand on heart, Dan Burn. Just because.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, mate, 100%. Mate, defensively, we're looking a bit light in terms of, like, if we have one bad injury,
fair.
We're screwed.
That's why I get Ben White. I was thinking the other English centre back on that.
Yeah, same.
Bright centre back, fill in for Joel Veltman.
No, do you know what? No, obviously, look, if you compare Ben White and Dan Burn, of course, quality per quality.
Mate, Ben White over Burn any day. Like, I like Burn,
but the reason why is because Dan Burn can cover the left-hand side, whereas Ben White can't. That's my only thinking. Don't get me wrong. Like if we're talking quality, man for man, Ben White is levels above. However, just positionally, Dan Burn could cover the left-hand side, whereas Ben White can't. He can only cover the right-hand side. So, that would be my reasoning. But also as well, for nostalgic reasons, I would love Big Dan Burn back, just for the banter. Just having a guy who's like 6'7".
Yeah, he's a great player.
He's 6'7", man. I didn't know that. It's not every time he touches the ball.
That's so good.
But yeah, no, that's a question I had to ask. But yeah, I wanted to really to talk about the game as well, to be honest. But I was going to say about Dan Burn as well. Another one doing really well. Newcastle are flying. And while we're on the subject of ex-players, I'm very happy for Dan Burn as well. Because he seemed like such a top guy. Genuinely looked like he's in his happy place, right? He's at Newcastle, it's where he belongs. So I'm happy for him. But anyway, let's move on to the game, boys. Wolves away, and it was never in doubt. I suppose you look at it, but at the same time, it was quite in doubt a lot of part of the game, particularly when we went 2-1 down. But let's start from the get-go. The two players that have really stood out, and you can't shy away from them: Adam Lallana and Karol Mitoma. Absolutely different level against Wolves. Both of them were fantastic. Mitoma is absolutely different level. I've never seen an attacking player come into a squad like ours and just look so confident, so willing to take on a player like he is. He's like the anti-knockout.
Looks like he fits in automatically, doesn't he? It looks like he's been playing in the Prem for ages. He just got it down to a T and knows exactly how to get the best out of himself on such a massive stage.
And what I wanted to say to you guys, actually, is I saw this morning, at 22 years old, 23 years ago, in 2019, he was playing for his university team in Japan, which is mad.
What?
2019, he was playing for his university team, which, by the way, the Japanese university teams are essentially like academies over in England. So it is a bit different. But at the same time, he was playing in the academies, and now he's playing in the Premier League and ripping it up left, right, centre. So big ups to Karol Mitoma.
We were all
many
playing
aspects.
Warzone in our bedrooms during COVID, so banging out at university.
Exactly. So, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, start with Ben. mate, how good was Mitoma and Lallana against Wolves?
Oh, sensational, mate. I mean, even just the link up for Mitoma's goal as well. It was Lallana's cross. But yeah, Lallana's quality. It just shows that he's still got it. Because every time we do doubt him quite a lot. Brighton fans doubt him quite a lot and say he's finished. But he has these games and these moments where he just shows that he's been at such a high level when he's playing at Liverpool. And it's a pleasure to have him in our team. And he brings us to the next level whenever he has a game like that. And then, like I said, on Mitoma, it looks like he's been playing in the Premier League for like 2 seasons now. It doesn't look like it's only his like first or second start for us in the league. So, he's unbelievable, and he's going to be keeping some big names out of the team for a while, I think.
Agree. And Maz, what are you thinking? Adding Lallana and performances?
Mate, I think like Mitoma just showed he was part of every goal we scored. He had a hand in it in some. I think he made the pass to Trossard, who then assisted Lallana. Obviously scored the header for the second, and then made the run.
Great header, by the way.
Yeah, and then made the run for the third goal, which obviously then Undav got tackled for, by the way, just to be clear.
Undav assist.
Undav assist. But no, he was influential in all 3 goals. He had a big part to play in all 3 goals, which just shows like the kind, like how important he is right now. Like it's not just he's playing really well, but he's instrumental in everything good that we do, which is
even
really
the sending
key.
Off.
Yeah, exactly. Semedo, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So literally everything good that came out of that game, he was a part of, which just shows how important he is right now. And I think he's just going to get better and better. I feel even funny enough, a Wolves fan I used to go to uni with, he messaged me going that Mitoma looks like an absolute baller, and I was like, like he is. Mate, he is looking really.
Funny
good.
You say that. Funny you say that. Even random Spurs fans who I don't even know, were on social saying like, yeah, Mitoma, he's like the next level. They're saying when I saw him against Tottenham in the like 5-10 minutes he got against them, they were like, he tore us apart every time he came forward. And now he's doing it again and again. He did it against Chelsea, tore him apart every time he went forward. Done it against Wolves. And these are 2 teams that are pretty decent.
Yeah.
And obviously, and Tottenham are known for being very defensive as well. It's only a bit of luck that he didn't, unluckiness, should I say, that he didn't get an assist against Tottenham. But Mitoma has been flying. And
final thing from me on Mitoma as well, I love, and I know he's been compared a few times, I've seen it on socials, but he genuinely, since we lost Izquierdo, we haven't had a player that's can run at defences and take players on and really like make you stand up as a fan. You know, those exciting players that you love to watch that take on players and really sort of penetrate that final, unlock the key that you need to score goals and assists and all that kind of good stuff. He is literally that key for me. We've really missed a player like that. We have like I think you said it earlier, since Knockout and Izquierdo arguably, we haven't had a player like Mitoma. And I think that's the difference, is he's very unique to what we've had in the past.
The sense of directness, I think, is what's been massive from Roberto De Zerbi since he's come in. That meaningfulness when we go forward. When we come forward, we look like we're going to score now. I mean, Leandro Trossard probably didn't have his best game against Wolves, but has turned into a different beast under De Zerbi. Mitoma, a different beast under De Zerbi. You're seeing the likes of Enciso and Sarmiento more in the reckoning now. And these attacking sort of direct forwards, which we just did not use under Potter, is a lot more slow, a bit more try walk it into the net, focused a lot more on midfield, and we still do that. But we've added almost another dimension to how we played before, and it's actually worked in our favour that whole situation's happened, because I honestly believe that since De Zerbi's come in, he's only added to what was there already. He hasn't actually made anything worse or changed anything. He's just made it better. But the one more thing I wanted to ask about Mitoma was, obviously, he got a lot of abuse on social, particularly from different supporters, but even some Brighton fans as well, for how he did this when obviously he got absolutely rugby tackled by Semedo, wasn't it? Yeah. So I wanted to ask, where do you stand on that? Like, some people saying it's unsportsmanlike, people others saying, doesn't really matter. It was a red card offence anyway. He probably wouldn't have, swung the referee at all. But obviously he's new to the English game. English players, English fans particularly, are going to not take to that as well. But Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, it's unprofessional, isn't it? But maybe I don't know. Is it a universal thing in football when it's unprofessional, or is it just like an English football thing where you?
I don't know. I just know that English football fans are more aggressive.
Yeah, well, no, but I think English football fans, we love seeing shit houses, but for some reason that's where we draw the line. You can't be doing that to the referee. You can say whatever you want, but I don't know. I imagine someone, maybe Lewis Dunk or even De Zerbi's probably said afterwards, you can't really be doing that. Yeah. Especially after seeing the reaction, or even Surely someone at the club's told him that you can't be doing that. I like it. It shows that he's got a bit of a shithouse mentality, which is probably the last thing I thought he would have or possess. But one thing on that red that I really absolutely loved is he's running down the wing. Brilliant touch, by the way. But you can see there's these 4 Japanese fans, where they've got all their Japanese flags and all that sort of stuff that obviously came there to watch him in Wolverhampton. And then he gets brought down. You see him going mental, and every time, like I think even for his goal, you saw him going mental. And it's just, we're getting more fans just because of him. It's it's class to see.
I just want to. I actually disagree with the whole yellow card like gesticulation thing because I'm in 2 camps with it. I liked it, and then I also get the other side of it where it's like it's not very sports. It's not it's not really in the nature of the game. However, on the flip side, you look at Spain, you look at Italy. It's very commonplace there, isn't it? Like you always see in Champions League, like Barcelona. Like growing up, you used to watch the Barcelona teams, and like literally used to see like Xavi, Puyol, Iniesta, just going like this all the time. And I suppose it's a very sort of Italian, Spanish, European thing, really, more so than English. But what I do think it sort of shows a little bit that we do lack is a little bit is that shithousery / that what's the word? Basically, trying anything to do to win. That's essentially what he's doing, right? He's trying to get a man sent off to win the game. I know it's not right. It's probably not in the right way to play the game. You obviously want to win it fair and square, but like it shows that he's got that willingness to win.
He's got that dog in him.
Yeah, he's got that dog in him.
I think though, Maz, what you say, like it was a red card anyway, right? It was the clearest red card you're going to see, so it wouldn't have swung the decision of the ref, would it?
I don't know, because it wasn't because he was obviously way out wide. Obviously, if he hadn't been taken down and he won the ball,
Semedo went like this.
No. I'm not saying it's not a red card. What I'm saying is that if let's say he didn't, go, make a scene or whatever, maybe the referee in the back of his mind went, actually, do you know what? Because he was so out wide and it's not as clear as a goal scoring chance as you might like to think. Maybe we give him a yellow. I don't know. That's probably what's going through Mitoma's head. He's thinking, right, if I don't make a meal out of this, as in if I don't, pipe this up more than it might be, maybe the referee doesn't give the red card. And I don't know, but it's one of those ones where I'm in two camps. I think it's not nice to see, but I don't hate it at the same time. I'm not like, why has he done that? Like, kick him out the club. Like,
I think it's like I think I'm the same as you, Maz. To be fair, I'm not like anti it completely, but then I do get it. Like, at the end of the day, you need to be respectful as much as you are like a good player. But I won't get too hung up on it anyway, to be honest. We'll move on with just how good he has been. And it's good to see another Asian player coming over and being so good. I mean, as 2/3 of the podcast is Asian here. It's lovely to see. I mean, we don't really get many Asian players over. We need to get a Burmese one and a bit more Iranians through, but it'll be all right. But it's great to see. We had Jahanbash. It's great. And I loved Ali. Yeah. But no, anyway, let's just talk about... Well, I want to speak about Lewis Dunk as well, because I thought he was, apart from the handball, which was big, I thought he was great, but we'll talk about that afterwards. I want to talk about the handball first. I'll start this one, actually. I thought it was handball, and I put the tweet on, to which I got hounded by Brighton fans saying it wasn't. So I just deleted it. I thought, I can't bother with the smoke right now, because we're not, it's nothing to moan about. But at the same time, I don't know, I thought, his hand's up here, it does strike his arm, in the letter of the law these days, and in the law that I can get behind, I think that was handball, and I'm not, I said at the time, I still think it was, but Maz, what do you think on the handball situation?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if you're going by the letter of the law, it's a handball. I don't really agree with it, because it's like...
Just because it's there, that's my trouble. I don't know.
Yeah, and also as well, in my viewpoint is, where is that ball going? Like, has he stopped a goal? Like, for example, if you look at where the trajectory of that ball's going, it's going way past, like way back from the penalty box, as in it's going away from play. Like, it's not a dangerous ball. It's not like it's going towards goal and he stopped a goal. Goal clear.
He's not controlling it, I guess.
And it's just like it's one of those handballs where. What has he actually done in terms of stopping the play, and how much that actually affected the potential goal? I think minimal.
The trajectory of the ball did not change when after it hit his arm, did it?
So
it didn't ski off anywhere else.
Yeah. So for me personally, like if by the letter of the law, like you said, it is a handball. Like it's hit his hand and his arm is very high. That's the issue. Where
that's the
his
trouble.
arm's like way up there. If it was by his side.
Yeah,
fair enough.
And I'd agree with you maybe if he put it in front of his face, like to try and stop it from hitting him in the face.
Yeah.
It's a natural human reaction to do that. But then because it's so high up, I think if you're, even in Sunday Parks football, if you're doing that, reality is you are asking for a handball, to be honest, because your hand is too far away. And I think, they probably give that down to Storrington, if I'm being honest. But yeah, Ben, what do you think?
My issue with it is that, and again, we always come back to this when we talk about VAR, clear and obvious. If something takes 6 minutes to have a look at on VAR, I know they looked at the offside for like 10 seconds of that, but 6 minutes to figure out if that was a handball or not, clearly it's not clear and obvious. Yeah. And it wasn't clear and obvious that it took a deflection off his arm, because you could barely see any difference in the movement of the ball anyway. So I really don't understand how that took so long to figure out whether it's a handball or not.
I think that's true.
If it takes 10 seconds to correct the decision, then that's obviously clear and obvious. But if it's taking 6 minutes, and it's obviously not a clear and obvious error to go back and look at VAR, that's what I still don't understand with VAR.
Yeah, I think that there needs to be a time limit, isn't it? Like, I think there needs to be a time limit of when the offence happened to when they can put it back to, and there also needs to be a time limit of how long it takes to look at it. Because if it's going to take more than 2 minutes, you're disrupting the game, really, aren't you? As soon as it goes to 3, 4, 5, you're just asking for fans to get annoyed. And I think if it's going more than 2 minutes to look at something, it's not clear and obvious, is it? But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. Luckily for us, doesn't matter, right? But I do think that it probably was handball, in my honest opinion. But that's just me. But yeah, anyway,
if it happened against us, or if it happened whilst we were in the attack and the Wolves player done that, I probably would have said, that's a penalty. And it is a penalty. It's just more of the VAR stuff that makes it annoying.
Yes, I agree. Okay, let me ask you about Lewis Dunk anyway. I wanted to talk about him because I thought, apart from that, and obviously he did do one more stupid thing where he took someone out on the edge of the box, which was, almost old Lewis Dunk coming back. With the World Cup around the corner, obviously he probably won't be getting called up, although he is in the preliminary squad. It does, I don't know, I feel like he's banging on the door a lot more. I thought he was fantastic against Wolves, I really did, colossal. And I saw actually someone say about how Cucurella's leaving to go to Chelsea, and obviously Ben White said it when he was here. Obviously, luckily for him, he's doing well at Arsenal. But since Cucurella's left Dunk's side, it's almost like he's half the player we saw him as, and it makes you wonder if that effect is true. I mean, Lewis Dunk is that good. Ben White described him as that too. I thought he was fantastic against Wolves. Now I'd be really surprised if he's not at least in the reckoning for this squad. I don't know what you think, Maz.
Yeah, I think we all know how good of a player he is. Like, on his day, he is, up there with the great, not great English defender, sorry,
the great Carly.
Yeah, the great Carly. No, my brain's frazzled.
Maldini.
No, he's up there with like the current, in terms of the current crop of English centre backs. On his day, he's right up there. But my only thing is, and you've mentioned it, Ryan, is that sometimes he's a bit error prone. And we saw yesterday with Eric Dyer against Liverpool. It's like a few of these English centre halves don't quite hit the peaks they have because of those little errors they still have in their armories. And I feel like with Dunk, unfortunately, that is his only letdown, is that he does have those momentary lapses of concentration, which, like we see him, he does a silly little slide tackle where he gets sent off, or he makes a bad back pass, or just those little momentary lapses of concentration, which I think lets him down ultimately. I think that's the reason he doesn't get picked. But if you take that away, and let's say he never does one of those mistakes, he is genuinely up there with one of the the best English centre halves we have at the moment.
Even one of the best centre backs in the league.
Yeah, 100%. Like, outside the top six. Well, I even include some of the top six. Yeah, he's definitely up there. But yeah, if you look at other defenders, and even outside of the Premier League, let's say you look at Tomori at AC Milan, you look at some other players outside of the Premier League, I think they warrant a place above Dunk, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean to say he's not good or he's not a quality defender. I just feel like
Tomori had a stinker when he played against Chelsea in the Champions League.
Yeah, well,
I think two in both. I know he got sent off wrongfully sent off, but the one at the bridge.
What a goal against Lincoln as well for Fikayo Tomori. So anyway,
but no, I think he's a very, very good defender. I think Gareth Southgate has just got it in his head now that no matter how good he plays until the World Cup, he's not making that squad. I think it's just simple.
What do you think, Ben?
No, I don't think he makes it, unfortunately. There's no way that he does. just because it's been this long and he hasn't been in the squad, there's no chance of him suddenly getting in it, breaking into it in the World Cup. I just don't see it. I think Southgate has that tight-knit England team that he always picks there or thereabouts. Obviously, this 55-man squad thing is exciting because we get to see Webster and Danny Welbeck part of it as well. But
so Webster's
it's
not.
more just like
I think Webster's not in it.
I thought he was. I saw he was as well.
I think it was rubbish by Naylor. I think said this.
Oh really? Okay. Well, just Welbeck and Dunk then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more of just like a little summer camp, isn't it, for them just to be part of the England squad, and then they're not going to get picked. I just think there are too many people ahead of him, and like Maz said, I think he does have a couple of those mistakes in him, and Southgate may not say it that he doesn't have bias, but he 100% does, and I just don't think he's ever going to get past that.
Yeah, I agree. I think actually, while we're on the subject of defenders, obviously I say that Dunk had a great game. I'm not digging out Webster by any means, but is he maybe off form a little bit? I don't know. I just feel like he's not quite the same Adam Webster that I remember. And I'm not, as I say, he's not been particularly bad as such, but he's just definitely not the level he was. I mean, even against that Chelsea goal where he completely missed the header and he completely lost his man as well for Havertz's goal. And put what's his name, Sanchez under pressure there. I wonder if Roberto De Zerbi said that his priority this January is going to be looking at a left-sided defender. Particularly, the priority for the transfer window is to find another centre back. I mean, he says I need a striker as well. But is that an Adam Webster dig, or is that we need replacements elsewhere in depth? But then, by the look of some of the main people we've been linked with. I mean, they look like starters to me. I don't know.
It might be more of a dig to the backups we've got in the Cole Wills, who doesn't seem to get a look in. I guess Van Heck was kind of injured more recently, but again, not getting a look in. He did look good on loan last year. We thought he was even going to start. I think remember in the pre-season, people were putting together their 11s for the beginning of the season. Van Heck was in most of them.
He's in most of them, yeah.
I know he can't even get a look in, and then we got Cole.
I think a few of us on this podcast predicted him to be the best young player of the year as well.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, to be fair. We'll have to look back in the archives, I think. But yeah, no, I do think we will get another centre back because we're linked with that Ukrainian guy. Was it? No, it's not Mikhalenko. That's the other bloke. But
Mudryk.
Yeah.
Is it Mudryk?
No, the centre back.
No.
Oh my god, I can't remember his name.
But
yeah, I know who you're on about.
I would be surprised. I would be surprised, Ryan, if Adam Webster makes way for that. I don't know. I saw it in his most recent press conference. Yeah, he was good. He scored his offside goal against Liverpool, wasn't it, Anfield in the Champions League. That was cool. But no, he said that Zerbi in his press conference said that Veltman was like a really good leader in the squad. He was saying it with teams full of leaders, and he mentioned Veltman alongside like Lallana, Welbeck, and Dunk. Didn't mention Adam Webster, so I imagine Veltman's still someone that he wants to keep. But I just probably think that Veltman will be the one to make way for this Ukrainian centre back.
Oh, and what do you think, Maz?
Yeah, I think it's a tough one. I think if like Ben said, if it's anyone's got to go, unfortunately, it has to be Veltman. I think as much as like you could argue between him and Webster, there's not much in it, to be honest. If you had to pick out the three, like Dunk, Webster, and Veltman. It's actually, you could argue Veltman is arguably one of the better ones out of three.
I was going to say that.
I think for longevity, I think if you want to look long term, is Veltman probably the one that misses out? Yes, just because he's, I think, 31, and that's not even old. That's super young. But like if you're looking at the long term game, I know Webster's 28. I want to say something like that, 27, 28. So the only thing I could think of is. Like the only thing I could sort of put it down to is maybe that if you want to sort of look for the long term future, and I suppose Dunk's obviously he's solidified his position. I don't think unless he drops like 5 out of 5 howlers, I don't see him being dropped. And so it just leaves Veltman, unfortunately. I think just by virtue of, but then that goes to the question of like, do you need to bring in someone else if everything's all good?
And who's saying that he comes in to start straight away? He could be just a backup centre back. Yeah, you know what I mean. Well, it could be that
he's
the
point,
behind Veltman, Webster, and Dunk.
I'm looking at this now. It is Mykola Matvienko, who is very good. I have seen a lot of clips about him, and a lot of people who are much more in the know than I am say that they reckon that he is a definite starter for any team, really. And I think he's been linked with the likes of Arsenal and Liverpool in the past as well. I think, if we were to sign this guy, he looks like he would be wanting to start games. I don't imagine he would be one to just sit on the bench and be depth. If we wanted to just keep depth, we would keep hold of Colwood and leave it at that. So it does make me wonder as to what the thinking is. Obviously, left-sided centre-back has been a problem for us, right? We've since we lost Burn, it's been an issue. I think that even though our form has risen, we've definitely worried always about that left side, just because
that's where simple tactics came from as well.
Yeah, and simple tactics says, you can't diversify the team without a natural left-footed centre-back on that left side these days, because it just doesn't really work. And that's why Dan Burn was so big for us. So potentially it could be Dan Burn replacement, right? A late Dan Burn replacement. But then again, that says again, Adam Webb says that's his position at the moment, whether he moves over to that right side. But I probably disagree with both of you and say that Veltman has been one of our best centre-backs in the last couple of years. So I think that if anyone's looking over his shoulder at the moment, I'd say it's probably Webster. And this isn't a dig, because everyone knows that I love him. But I just think that at this moment in time, going into January, it could be a very contested spot on that left side, I think, at least. But we'll see.
It would be good to see that, them having some competition finally.
I also want a late replacement for Glenn Murray, Ryan, if that could happen.
Yeah, so would I, mate.
Oh my God, no, that reminds me, Maz. Thank you so much for reminding me. Adam Lallana's post-match interview.
Oh yeah,
after
Danny
Wolves,
Welbeck. Yeah.
Saying Danny Welbeck, he's like, if you're gonna look for another Danny Welbeck, you've got to be looking at 80-90 million in the English market. I was like, what are you smoking, Adam?
Yeah, come on, let's be real.
I know he's your mate, and you played for England together and all that stuff, but Jesus Christ, what are you talking about?
That's so
80
funny.
to 90 million.
Yeah, come on. If you're signing Danny Welbeck regen for 90 million, mate, you're smoking. Although if it's a Danny Welbeck at Man United, like when he was like 21, then I'll take it. But maybe not the Danny Welbeck of right now.
Here's where I stand on that. Yeah, I agree with the sentiment that we don't need a striker anymore. I think we don't. We've scored 3 against Wolves. We scored 4 against Chelsea. Even before this season, I think we scored 5 against Leicester as well. Before this season, we're hitting 4 against Man United. We've been very, very on fire with goals in 2022. We've been greeted to a lot of goals. I think that I agree with the sentiment that we've needed to step up across the pitch, because goals need to come from everywhere. You can't just be relying on goal-scoring strikers, and I get that. At the same time, Haaland's made it more fashionable to be a number 9, out-and-out number 9, as is Ivan Toney. But at the end of the day, they are very rare. And I get the sentiment behind that is if you want an Erling Haaland or an Ivan Toney, you've got to dig out 80, 90 million. And I get that Welbeck's a very good hold-up striker, and he's right in saying that. But to say 80, 90 million for Welbeck, at the end of the day, an 80, 90 million pound striker by now has at least 7 or 8 goals.
Darwin Núñez.
Yeah. Which, people say he's a flop. But,
He reminded me of, when girls comment on other girls' pictures and there's like, it's like the ugly mate. So it's a bit harsh. And they're like, fire, absolute fire, you're so beautiful. I'm just like, you're lying. You're just lying. Stop commenting. Stop commenting that.
That's a touchy one, Ben. That's a touchy one.
That's true.
Also as well,
everyone's beautiful.
This is a random one.
Everyone's beautiful.
Well, it's not random because we just talked about it. But how much is Ivan Toney worth? He's not worth 90 million, let's be real. With English tax, what
60,
we're looking at, 50?
60, 70, I'd say.
I'd say 50.
Striker, isn't it?
Yeah,
a striker
50,
of his
60.
mould that scores the goals he does. He can take free kicks, can take penalties,
so
scores
Ivan Toney,
scores inside and outside the box.
Okay, so let's say we all agree, 50 million, yeah? With English tax attached. So how is he claiming that Welbeck is 90 million if Ivan Toney's, let's say, in our opinion, in our humble opinion, is worth 50 million? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Even if we're being really generous and say 75, it's
That's
still
super generous, yeah.
It's still mad. So to say 80, 90 million,
He's just a pen merchant anyway, mate.
But look, Lallana had the best game of his life the other day. I think it was the best game I've seen him play in a Brighton shirt. And also as well, he put out this morning, at least on TalkSport, I don't know when this would have been recorded, but it was actually put out today at the time of recording this, whenever this does go live, saying about how Potter left and everything like that, and saying that we had a right to be upset and that he agrees and sympathises with us. And it almost seems like, I don't think he's best pleased about it either. But it's good to see that he's come out and defended us in the media as well. So that, obviously Brighton fans have been getting a lot of sort of stick this week, particularly from TalkSport, particularly from Gabriella Bonnehoy.
But Laura Woods.
On Jamie O'Hara as well.
Laura Woods saying,
Laura Woods.
Giving a shout out to Joe Sayers' article.
Yeah.
That was the best thing I saw last week.
That was
my favourite person in the whole wide world doing that for Brighton and also for Joe Sayers. That's huge as well, but that was so sick. I don't know if you saw it, Matt, but Laura Woods basically.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, reading Joe Sayers.
Shout out Joe Sayers.
Shout out.
That was unreal. Okay,
so
let's also. I just wanted to say one thing, completely sort of subtly Brighton related. Obviously, Southampton have sacked Ralph Hasenhüttl, and they want Nathan Jones, which would be weird.
He's favourite at the moment, isn't he?
Into the Premier League. I think he is favourite, which would be crazy to see Nathan Jones come back, particularly against us. But anyway, let's finish up on this anyway. Mitoma at the heart of it for the 3-2. Absolute scenes. Pascal Gross. What a finish that was, by the way. The ball was already getting away from him, and to be able to sort of slide and strike it with that much power is so much harder than you think. It was a great finish. Great
What an
move from
assist by
Mitoma.
Undab as well.
What
What an assist.
And as well, and involved in that build-up was Billy Gilmore, actually. And I thought he was good when he came on, actually, in the small little cameo he had.
Yeah.
Very composed as a young player. I do like the look of him. I do wonder if he's the sort of long-term Adam Lallana replacement when Lallana's legs do sort of...
He's got that mix of... He reminds me a bit of Alexis playing that deeper role as well.
Yeah.
So
I think he's definitely in the right place for sort of learning off other midfielders. But to be surrounded by Lallana and McAllister...
I'm sure he is.
He seems it. He put up the Seagulls on his Instagram, so it's all good.
But obviously he would have been gutted that Potter left and all that stuff. And
yes.
But I'm sure... I really hope he's happy now. Because there was a lot of talk saying that he would be fuming, which you would be if you just signed for a club and then a few days later the manager leaves for the club you were just at.
But what a goal from Pascal Gross. Literally writing himself as a legend. His 51st goal contribution as a Brighton player. Absolutely mad. But yeah, Pascal Gross, boys, that last goal, talk me through it. Mad.
My friend Brett told me... Okay, cool. I'll be mad.
No, Ben, go for it. My friend Ben.
But it's funny. My friend Brown on Saturday night, he was like, told me that I think Pascal got more goals than Ødegaard, Kevin De Bruyne, and someone else that's a big name that plays in a similar position in the Premier League. And he was like, "There's a stat for your Seagulls Social podcast," and now I've said it. But yeah, it's just he's on a different level again this season. He's carrying it on. Kind of petered off a little bit the past few games, not with any like goal contributions, I think. But obviously, getting a winner like that is beautiful. Actually, I say that he scored against Chelsea, so I'll shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I think he's great, and also talking about the non-striker in the system, not having a sort of a recognised striker, so to speak, when Welbeck's not in the team, he sort of fits in quite well, as in like into this system of not having that recognised striker, and he's an outlet of either goals, assists, or just general build-up play. So I think he's criminally underrated, even sometimes by our own fans. But his output is just outrageous for you know, how much, especially we bought him for like 2 million, was it, or something crazy?
Yeah, 2.5 million.
3.5 million. Yeah, like it's just mad if you actually
get a statue of him. I know he's still playing for us, but just get him a statue.
Like fair play to him. And also, like even when you look at him and you think, Jesus Christ, he is slower than a snail. He's so like influential, and he affects the game in such a way.
Yeah.
Like he just doesn't look like he should be a footballer, but he is, and he's very good.
He's technical brilliance is what I call him. He's just so... He's like a machine, isn't he? An absolute German efficiency machine. Yeah. He is so good. Like an Audi. And his technical output, like an Audi, perfect. His technical ability is absolutely unbelievable. He still gets away with the gross turn every time. And honestly, it's great to see him and Lallana actually coming good, under De Zerbi, because there was a bit of a question mark over, especially Pascal Gross, as to whether he was going to live up to De Zerbi's sort of high pressing, directness. I mean, he's
which
found
is
his
so
spot.
good, by the way. Jesus Christ, we've been so good at pressing recently.
Mate, unbelievable.
It's like that Sonny March chance when we were just charging it down and he'd done that slide tackle on Kilman and then obviously had a shot on goal, which nearly went in, by the way. That just, our pressing's been incredible recently. So yeah, unbelievable.
By the way, look, I don't want to dig up March because he's been great in the last few games, but when's he going to score? When is he going to get his goal? Because I'll tell you what, I thought he had his moment. I thought he had his moment. And it just doesn't drop for him, does it?
Two chances, didn't he?
It just doesn't work.
He had two chances. First half one, when he thought just get out your feet, and then he somehow put it wide or over. And then
the second one, he had the right to take a shot on. But I think, there's probably a better option on. I think that Mitoma's back post probably could have clipped that to the back post. But, mate, overall,
I think we just got to accept with him we're gonna have to accept with him that he is not a goal scorer. I think that's just It's like it's not one of those things where you be like, all right, we can change him, we can turn him into this lethal striker or lethal attacker. It's just not going to happen. I think we're just going to have to accept that he's not a goal scorer.
You just know that his first goal that he's going to score, like the first one in however long it's been, it's going to be an absolute worldie. It's going to be from like 30 yards, smack it off the underside of the bar or something. It's going to be like, that's often how it goes with these players that don't score often. But I'm actually dying for Solly to get a goal contribution of some description. I know he technically got the assist.
You're dying for it.
I'm dying for it.
Mate, he must know. He must be thinking deep down. When am I going to score? Because he has so many opportunities to, particularly that second one and the first one. Actually, to be honest, he's got to be trying to get a goal at some point soon. But
if he keeps playing how he does, I think he's even without scoring or getting any assists, he's just still very, very good and crucial to our team. There's a reason why these big managers rate him. And there's a reason why he keeps playing for us under Potter and Zerbi. So he's crucial.
All right. Thank you all for listening, watching, streaming. How you've been hearing us today. But yeah, boys, any last words, any comments below? It's got to be something Mitoma related, isn't it?
The comments below should be Mitoma Magic at Molineux. And then we'll have that as podcast.
Mitoma Magic at Molineux. Yeah, I like that. Mitoma Magic. Yeah. Mitoma Magic at Molineux. Comment that in the comments below. Keep streaming, as I've just said. Thank you all for listening to our voices for the past 40 minutes or so. And we'll speak to you next time.
Peace.